Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to introduce you to my first game, Logic Bombs. Logic Bombs is a logic puzzle game, originally created for the Game Boy and also playable on PC. It's available right now on Steam. It's got 160 puzzles, which should take quite a while to solve. The Steam release includes both the PC and Game Boy versions, so you can play whichever one you prefer, and the whole thing only costs $5. If that's all you need to hear, then by all means head over to the store page and give it a shot. There's a link in the description. If you're still on the fence, then it might help if I explain what you're looking at. A logic puzzle is one where you use deductive reasoning to fill in missing information. In Logic Bombs, the only thing you need to do is decide whether each cell contains a wall or not. You do this by looking at the bombs and creatures in the level. There's a few rules which determine how they interact with each other, and by using those rules you can deduce where the walls must be. I won't explain all the rules here, but the most important one is that when a bomb explodes, it destroys the amount of targets listed on that bomb. If you successfully complete a puzzle, you get to see this happen for yourself. There's not many rules to learn, and there's a sequence of tutorial puzzles at the start which introduce them one by one, so I think it has a fairly gentle introduction. Even if you've never solved a logic puzzle before, you can probably start Logic Bombs without too much effort. That said, my favourite games tend to ramp up quickly, so this one does as well. I would say it escalates at a reasonable pace, but it does get quite difficult, so there's a few features to help take the edge off. Most of the time, multiple puzzles are available, so you can try different ones if you get stuck. Every puzzle has its own save slot, so you can freely quit and resume each puzzle without losing progress. If you want a helping hand, there's also a way to check whether you've misplaced some walls. For anyone who's already a puzzle game fan and is wondering what Logic Bombs has to offer, I'd like to say that even though the number of explicit rules is quite low, the puzzles highlight and explore various complexities that arise from those rules. If you enjoy discovering deductive shortcuts, techniques, or emergent rules which you can apply in future puzzles, it's my hope you'll enjoy this game. Since Logic Bombs started life as a Game Boy title, the PC version defaults to the original Game Boy sprites when you first start, but if those chunky pixels hurt your eyes, there's an alternate tileset with smoother graphics. Personally, I prefer these sketchbook visuals when playing at my desk, and prefer the pixelated visuals when playing on my Steam Deck. You can freely swap between tilesets at any time depending on what suits you. If you're feeling brave, you can even opt for a classic green look instead. As for the actual Game Boy version, you should know that it's Game Boy Color compatible. Color isn't necessary, so it can be played on an original Game Boy if you like, but a bit of colour makes the puzzles easier to understand. As such, I recommend playing with colour if possible. I have to admit the PC version is probably the best, most convenient way to play, since you can just click play like any other Steam game. But if you already have a way to try the Game Boy version, consider checking it out. It has all the same puzzles as the PC release. Since this is supposed to be an analysis channel, I'll wrap up with a thought about logic puzzles in general. Usually when I play games for the first time, I try to just soak them in without thinking too deeply about them. Of course, even if I'm trying to stay switched off, certain things do end up catching my interest. Playing a logic puzzler a while back, one thing I started wondering was how the developers could ensure there was only a single solution to each puzzle. It seemed like a difficult and intricate question to answer, the kind of thing which might be interesting to discuss in an analysis. I set that thought aside until I started working on Logic Bombs, where the answer became clear immediately, and it's not as complicated as I expected. Each puzzle in Logic Bombs has exactly one solution, and the way to prove this is by playing it. When you solve a logic puzzle, you not only prove your solution is valid, you prove it's the only possible solution at all. In fact, that's what makes it a logic puzzle. If every step is taken through deductive reasoning, then no matter how many steps it takes to reach the end, you've formed a perfect chain of irrefutable proof which shows exactly how the grid must be filled. Fortunately, I think knowing this fact makes logic puzzlers a little bit more satisfying. Before I end, I'd like to give a special thanks to my patrons who have supported me over the years. I'm happy with the game, but I do wish it had come together sooner. Nevertheless, you've all been very supportive throughout this journey, which I appreciate. Whatever happens next, I'm grateful to have gotten the opportunity. If nothing else, it's a lifelong dream fulfilled and a weight lifted, so thank you. That's all from me. If I've piqued your interest, please give Logic Bombs a try. It's available now, it's got a gentle enough introduction, there's 160 puzzles, it's $5, it works on the Steam Deck, and you get a Game Boy version as well. I'll see you all again sometime, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy the game.